Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Claw and the King podcast. I'm joined by Dopey, who is refusing to get ready yet. So sorry for the inconvenience caused there. You're just going to have to listen to my voice for a bit longer. Now, big show planned. Obviously, a lot is happening in the world of sport as we speak. With my sort of interest as well with NFL, we might touch on that for a bit. Kicking off fantasy football, which I'm very disappointed in because I'm playing someone that has AJ Brown, who scored a 70-yard touchdown. So that royally screwed me. But look, that shit happens. It happens, and you just got to move on.
Is that like, if you score a 70-yard touchdown, is that like ultimate points?
Yeah, so you get, obviously, the yards with the 70 yards, so that's 7 points. You get the touchdown, which is 6 points. And then you get bonuses for having a long touchdown. For a 40-yard touchdown, you get a bonus, so you get 1 point. But then a 50-yard, you get another 2 points. And then if it's more than that, you get another point. So in one play, I kind of got screwed in the Packers-Eagles game yesterday.
Is Aaron Rodgers playing?
He's playing for the Jets, yeah.
So he's back?
He's back. He is so back.
Is he good?
He's very old. It's hard to tell if he's good because of his injury last year. It's very tough. But I think he'll be solid. I think, look, he wasn't the best his last year in Green Bay. He wasn't to his standard probably, but I think with the Jets it'll be night and day what they've had in terms of quarterbacks in the past couple of years, but compared to what he is, so they'll really help them out. So yeah, it's just if he can stay healthy throughout the whole season.
Yeah, and the season's taking some relevancy. I'm seeing some stuff probably because NBA hasn't started yet, so NFL's the main thing going on over there. Yeah. But I obviously saw the Packers Ravens with the insane ending, the guy's toe.
Yeah, it wasn't Packers.
No, Chiefs.
Chiefs Ravens. I took a loo day from work on Friday because I knew I had to watch the first game of the season. Didn't expect to.
You had to watch Taylor Swift.
Yeah, to watch her on the TV, it's just what I love. But no, I had to watch that game, and it was an unreal game. The vibes were great. It was sunny out. Had the TV. Oh, it was just pure vibes. But yeah, a great game. Fantastic game. Patrick Mahomes doing what he does, especially late in that game. But yeah, I mean, Isaiah Likely was a guy that came out of nowhere. I think a lot of people were expecting Kelsey and Mark Andrews. This will be complete after nothing to Oscar. He will have no idea. It'll be like I'm speaking fucking Spanish. Pacheco, that's a good one. That is actually a really good one. But yeah, Pacheco was solid. He runs like a maniac. He's a really cool runner. I had him in my fantasy last year. Won me the league, so props up. Right. But no, great game. Isaiah Likely's toe was on. Mom, stop calling me. Jeez. trying to work, Mom. Sorry for the interruption. Right. But no, I think, yeah, it was a great game. With the sort of the talent on both sides, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. I think Lamar was a bit off of his usual.
Threw a few intercepts,
well, it wasn't the intercepts. It was when they were on the goal line and they were, trying to tie the game. And obviously, you saw the one where his foot was out of bounds, or his toe was. He missed a couple of wide open guys. Like in the plays before that, they would have tied the game, and maybe they wouldn't have even won it from going for a 2-point conversion late on. So if they would have scored, so I think it was a bit of a poor showing from Lamar. He was very active on the ground, but not as great through the air. But the Chiefs just look so good as well. I mean, they're just going to go for the three-peat. Similar to your favourite team in the NRL, the Penrith Panthers. Obviously, they've gone for the three-peat. They've gotten it.
They have.
They're going for the four-peat, which, I mean, never happened. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the Chiefs are probably the best team, and they look unbelievable on offense. They've added a couple of speedsters in the draft and free agency. So, yeah.
The rookie scored, didn't he?
Yeah, Xavier. He's so fucking fast. Like he runs. What 40 yards would be like.
Yeah, like 30 meters.
Yeah. So he runs that in 4.2 seconds. Like from the start to the opening speed burst that you get in a 100-meter race, he runs it in 4.2 seconds.
That's pretty good.
What's
Tyreek do?
Tyreek, I don't know. I think he got 4.29 when he did his thing. The thing with that drill when they do it for the draft, it's like you have to train for it if you want to do it elite at it. But some players prefer not to. So it's just, is he the fastest player of all time? Probably not. But I think Tyreek's probably a bit faster, but it's just like, it's hard to, it's the only measurement that you've got. So it's kind of, you've got to live with it. So I think he is technically the fastest player in the NFL.
There you go.
And they gave him to Patrick Mahomes, which was cool. But no, yeah, the NFL starts, all the games start properly on Monday, for us, Monday morning. So yeah, be keen to
up the riff.
Up the Chargers. I'm a big Chargers guy. So hopefully the boys can take it home.
The LA Chargers?
The LA Chargers.
They got kicked out of San Diego.
They didn't get kicked out, they moved. Very controversially, actually. It's like the Penrith Panthers moving from Penrith to a place with humans.
Maroubra.
Yeah. It's like moving, I don't know, it's like Penrith, it's like the Panthers moving.
Coming to the North Shore.
Yeah, it's the North Shore Panthers. Like, it's kind of like that vibe. But like, you're leaving, all the Penrith people are like, well, what else do we have now? This is all we have.
You got tied to Avasa.
I know you've got more money in the North Shore than Penrith, but we need this. This is the lifeblood of this city or this town. It's kind of that vibe. But on a much bigger scale in the NFL. But yeah, that's a good comparison.
Oh well. So is there any other good teams? Who even made the Super Bowl last year?
So 49ers Chiefs.
Yeah.
So 49ers are very good. I think there might be a bit of a Super Bowl hangover with them. It's a bit tough because they've lost twice now. This group has lost twice in the Super Bowl in the past couple of years. So I think it's really tough mentally for them to get back. McCaffrey's dealing, McCaffrey, right? Big McCaffrey guy.
Big McCaffrey guy.
Yeah, he's dealing with a bit of a niggle. So it's going to be interesting to see. And he's got injury problems in the past. I mean, former Panthers player. You're a big Panthers guy.
Big Panthers guy.
Former Panthers player.
Cam Newton's my goat.
Yeah, there you go. You name any other goats from the Panthers or the Carolina?
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, there you go. But yeah, essentially they're looking solid, but I think they're a bit older and a bit more injury prone now, so I don't have as much faith in them. Sorry. The Ravens would have been up there for me. They added Derrick Henry in the offseason. Didn't look as strong, but they're playing the Chiefs, so it's pretty tough. But for most of the game, I didn't think they were in it, so it's going to be a tough one for the Ravens to really mount. The Chiefs, I do like the Lions this year as well. They sort of came up short.
Right.
Last year, they probably should have made the Super Bowl, but the 49ers sort of dominated them in the second half and, came back from, I think it was like 14, 17 points or something in that second half. So, the Lions look really good this year, so we'll see.
Interesting. What about the, is it the Dolphins coach that has turned into a hippie?
No, he's not turned into a hippie. He's turned into Miami Vice.
Yeah, because I saw this compilation of the first year he rocks up in a suit, super formal, and now in his fourth year he's in a floral shirt.
That was the thing with him. The reason he was hired was because he was this nerd who knew all the plays. He was from the 49ers, so he knew all the plays, and he was I don't know what it is, but just had elite ball knowledge essentially, and that's why they hired him. But the longer he's been in Miami, the more he's becoming like a Scarface character, he's a mobster. And you just see him rock up in these sunnies that are so flamboyant, and he's a cool guy now. So that's the vibe of Miami. Miami is also a good contender as well. I like them. Obviously got Tyreek, the fastest team in the NFL. So cool team to watch, cool team to support, but a bit weak.
Bit weak.
What would their comparison be for the NRL? I'm trying to think.
Cowboys.
No, the Cowboys aren't flashy. God.
Yeah, they are. That's all they
Compare
are.
North Queensland to Miami.
No, the team, not the place.
I know, but it's got to factor in somehow.
Broncos.
Yeah, it's like the Broncos. It's a good one. Broncos, very fast, very flashy team. Could make it far, but don't. Because of whatever reason.
Because of coaching.
Yeah, maybe it's not the Broncos then. But anyway, essentially, NFL's kicking off, so really pumped for that. But do you want to sort of kick off into another sport that you're...
Yep, we can do football. Obviously, last time we spoke, I believe United won their first game of the season. Yeah. Pretty much wrapped it up in the opposite direction since then. So, I think they've lost 2 games in a row. Obviously, I didn't watch them, but Liverpool was devastating, 3-0. Salah, I think, scored.
Watching you try and like muster up an argument for like football is like based off the highlights that you watched.
I saw Carragher and Neville having a big argument.
Yeah, well they did. Yeah, look. The thing with United is we're done. It's over. We're done. I've given up. It's just so painful. Like this manager, people are blaming the manager, and it's a fair point. We haven't had a style of play in 3 years, so that's a fair point. However, like how many managers are we going to do this to? Like how many times can it be the manager's fault? It's just like I don't know what it is. The place is too big. The job is too big. It's probably that. It's probably the job is too big for a manager. That's not probably Ancelotti or something. But even Jose. Jose was the biggest manager in the world, but it swallowed him up. So I can't fathom it really. It's just, we're in the pits and I don't know if we're going to get out of it, if I'm honest.
Well, Højlund hasn't played, right?
Well, no, but...
And Lenny?
Yeah, but look.
Yeah.
We do have injuries to start the year, but I mean, our training, I don't know what our medical staff is doing. I mean, how many fucking injuries can we get, honestly?
And everyone was clowning Casemiro after the last game.
Yeah, he looks washed. The thing with Casemiro, he had a really good opening game. I thought he was okay against Brighton. He was a bit sloppy, but I thought he played well in the first game. But the thing with Casemiro is he needs a lot of protection right now. Like in terms of like if it's a very confined midfield and it's a very structured midfield, and it's a very slow process game, he's very valuable in that situation because he can break up play really well, and he can still pass. Even though he was shocking at passing the ball, he usually can pass the ball. And he's a threat on corners, on headers. Really good threat. So that's something that he still has value in. However, when it's an open game against Liverpool, it's not good because he has no legs. He is literally, I don't know what happened.
He's legless.
Yeah, he is so slow and so lethargic. And he gave the ball away so much. And yeah, he was so poor.
Was Kobe playing?
Yeah. Look, I don't know what to do with the midfield at the moment. I think it's one of them where I don't know what to say. Honestly, it's so cooked. It's unbelievable. I think we've got Ugarte in as well. The midfield I was talking about from PSG last episode. And apparently, he's sort of a guy that, runs after the ball, chases after the ball, has got legs. So hopefully he can be that sort of engine in the midfield, sorry. And then, hopefully Højlund comes back and we have some semblance of attack. Rashford looks horrendous. It's really disjointed at the moment. It feels like there's 3 teams playing for one team. It feels like the defense is playing for them and then the midfield's playing for them and then the attack. It's like, it feels it's all separated. And I just don't know where we go from here, honestly. Liverpool looked a mile ahead of us. Tactically, they looked a mile ahead of us. And I just don't understand where we sort of go. I don't see us getting into the top 4. And look, we had this with Ten Hag's first season. We had a horrendous start. And then we went on a run and we sort of clawed it back and finished top 4. But I just don't see us finishing top 4 this year.
No, it's a tough ask with Liverpool, City and Arsenal are obviously going to be there. So it's really 3, 4, 5 teams fighting for that last spot. So it's tough to see United getting there. Sancho, obviously he's gone to Chelsea.
Yes.
And Sterling's gone to Arsenal. Just like an English winger merry-go-round.
Yeah.
So
good thing he's gone. I think Sancho's a bit of a fucking piss take, honestly. You're on like 300 grand a week and you can't like show up to training on time and you've got to play PlayStation till 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I don't even play PlayStation at all and I have heaps of free time. Yeah. Different reason, but that's by the by. No, I just think Sancho's just a bit of a piss. Like everyone backs him because of how well he played at Dortmund and sure, but I think at United anyway, he just looked overweight all the time. He didn't care. He didn't rock up to train. I mean, people say that it was Ten Hag that ruined him, but really under Ollie, he wasn't anything. when Ollie bought him, he was shocking. So I don't. And actually, look, I do want to actually rephrase that. He was never shocking, but that was his problem. He was so safe and boring, and yeah, just did nothing. That he was so mad that you never, even with Rashford, sometimes you might get a good goal. Like sometimes he'll run at the defense, and his pace alone will scare people. But Sancho, the defenders had no worry about him because he had no pace, and he just didn't seem to have any effort into really getting on the end of anything or creating anything. It was just, yeah, it just wasn't a good marriage. And yeah, good thing to see him gone. But yeah, I mean, people still want him to stay, but I just don't get that crowd really. I think it's because of the amount of money that I think people just wanted him when he was at Dortmund so badly. We ended up getting him in the end for a lot of money, and then he's gone. So good riddance.
Another failed.
How do you think he'll do at Chelsea?
Experiment. Well, I can't. He's not going to play, really, is he?
Well, Chelsea are another mess. Now, they're playing okay this season, but the amount of players that they have. I mean, we touched on it.
United are like shit when they get an injury. Chelsea are like, yes, one less player we have to worry about.
Yeah, the manager's like, you're injured, mate. Just take the rest of the season off. Don't worry about it. The amount of wingers that they have is crazy. Mudryk, who they bought for a shit ton of money, where is he going to play? There is no chance of him playing. But yeah, in other football news, they were linked to Osimhen.
Osimhen?
Ocean Man.
From Napoli.
Napoli, yes. Ocean Man from Napoli. Very heavily linked to him and would have been a great signing, in my opinion. You've got a guy that, one of the top scorers in Serie A for a long, long time. One of the most highly regarded strikers in the world. They need a world-class striker. That's probably the one position that they need. And he ends up not going to Chelsea. And then the deal breaks down for whatever reason. And then because the Turkish transfer deadline isn't like the regular European, so it goes a bit longer. And he ends up signing for Galatasaray, which is like the weirdest fucking signing.
I did see that.
Like, how?
Galatasaray just get some sneaky signings every now and then.
Yeah, but they got like Icardi, which is like...
They got Schneider back in the day.
Yeah, I guess. But they were all kind of washed. Like, they were all like 30... Like, Icardi was a bit washed.
Didn't
like,
they? Weren't they?
They got Fred.
Didn't they nearly get Anthony?
No.
Wasn't Anthony going to some Turkish team and then it fell through?
He rejected it.
He rejected it.
Anthony wants to stay at United.
He loves the club.
He loves it, yeah. The fans are so nice to him. He's like a cult hero. No, I think...
I love all the reels you get of the AI voices, and it's like Ronaldo saying, "Oh, Anthony is my idol. I was so happy when he came to United." Oh, it's hilarious.
He sucks.
He's actually the most memes player in football now. Like every post,
No,
it's like all the 900 Ronaldo posts. It was like, "Oh, but Anthony's gonna get to 1,000." It's like,
I just feel bad for I just feel bad because he's like Brazil. Like he's lived in Brazil. Like the shit that he does is like normal there. No, but like his celebration of him going like a tiger.
The respect moment when he was like after one of the goals, he was like, "Oh, sorry," and he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and he's just
oh god, so cringe.
It's just a bit cringe,
even the way he runs onto the field is cringe.
That shit is normal in Brazil, though. Like to them, being cringe is not like a thing. I think.
I don't know. But there's a lot of other Brazilians, and none of them have had this sort of stuff.
I disagree. I feel like a lot of Brazilians do like weird celebrations and like
they do dances
and like weird like TikTok dances that what the fuck are you doing? And then it's like their thing. So I feel like it's just their culture. But like some like guy from Manchester's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like a Manchester fan is just a bit. Manchester to Brazil is just a bit different, but. Yeah. Anyway, Osimhen going to Turkey was probably the wildest transfer I've ever seen. Because I mean, Turkish. He probably could have gone for 100 million, but he's gone to Turkey.
100 mil,
probably. But he went to Turkey on loan.
On loan? What the?
Yeah,
Didn't Napoli just win the league?
Yeah. No, that was not last year. Did they win last year or the year before? They won the probably. I think it was the year before. It might have been. I don't know. It might have been last year. But yeah, well, he wasn't going to be. Well, that was the thing. He wasn't going to be included in the squad because he kind of said to Napoli, "I want to go."
Right.
And then it just talks kind of broke down with European clubs. Oh,
Did they get Lukaku?
no. Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they got Lukaku.
There you go.
See, that's ball knowledge right
That's
there.
ball knowledge.
Elite ball knowledge. So they got they got Lukaku. So they were like, we don't want you anymore.
Imagine choosing Lukaku over Osherman.
But he's a fucking baller in the Italian league.
Is he?
Lukaku, yeah. Because it's such a slow league.
He's so unco though. I don't.
No, he's not unco.
He is.
He's just,
His first touch is awful.
He just can't dribble. Like he just can't. But imagine having to face him though.
Well, I'd just make him dribble.
Would you know? No, I think he's a baller in the Italian league. He just can't in the Premier League when it's so like pass dependent. Like everyone's passing and moving and dribbling. It's just not his style.
Well, that's Haaland's criticism, but he's
like different.
He's just got the most hat-tricks
Lukaku
ever.
was great in the Premier League for a while, especially when he was young.
At Everton, he was good.
At Everton, at
How
United,
many clubs has this dude played for?
he's played for a lot.
Like 40?
Well, he played for West Brom. He was always at Chelsea, but I think he went on loan to West Brom, and then went on loan to Everton. Then went back to Chelsea. Then United bought him. Then he went on loan to Inter. Then he went to Inter on a... No, then he went back... Then Chelsea bought him. Then he went back to United. Then Chelsea bought him again.
Then Inter.
Then he went to Inter on a permanent. Then now he's going to Napoli. I think.
Right.
Who knows? But yeah, essentially, in the world of football, international break at the moment. Breaking news. San Marino. Have you heard this?
San Marino.
So this country has never won a game of football.
Oh, right. Okay.
And they won.
Who'd they beat?
Liechtenstein, I think?
Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein.
Look, there's bigger scalps to get, but I guess you take it if you've ever won.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, I just need to get my coffee. 2 secs.
You need to get your coffee. Are we going to invoke editing in this episode? This is big stuff. If anyone doesn't know, today is Sunday. And I don't know what else to say. I think we can wrap up the soccer chat. Oh, that was quick. Wow, okay. Maybe we don't need to edit.
No, we don't. I just said entertain the people.
Entertain the people.
For 2 seconds. I'll get my coffee. Sorry. Have a bit of a break there for a coffee break.
This episode is sponsored by
a no-name coffee brand. Good on them.
Respect. We appreciate the support nonetheless.
Yeah. How much did you get from it? Is it even 50-50?
Well, I don't really drink coffee, not to shit on our sponsor, but
why not? You're not a big coffee guy.
just don't like it.
See, I disagree wholeheartedly. I couldn't get through a day of work without coffee.
Yeah, I'm in the minority. Most people drink coffee, but I feel like it's good that I don't like it because you don't want to be addicted to the stuff.
No, but
you don't want to be relying on it.
No, but it's like I can't. Like even, I just couldn't work without it.
Yeah, exactly. That's bad.
No, but it's not like I depend on it. Like, well, I do, but it's not like it's because I'm addicted to it. It's because it's the only thing that makes me happy during work.
Yeah, that's what an addiction is, mate.
It's not an addiction, I swear. It's the only thing
that makes you happy is coffee.
No, like during work. Like the only thing that can get me up and get me energized for work is a coffee. I feel like I wouldn't be energized if I didn't drink coffee. Like, you know me at school. I was not energized at all and I didn't drink coffee. But now that I'm at work and I can drink coffee, it's because of the coffee that I'm drinking.
Right. What's your order? Is it an iced coffee?
Not usually, no. I'm a big...
Cappuccino?
I'm a big mocha guy usually. But
that's like a beta coffee though.
Okay. What is beta to like order at a coffee shop?
A mocha.
I don't know. I just liked chocolate, so that was like my first coffee. So
That's everyone's first coffee. Because they're like, oh, it's a hot chocolate with coffee.
Yeah, but I don't fit in with the crowd. Like if I like something, I want to have it. Like I can't have a mocha because it's got chocolate sprinkles on.
Yeah.
No, I usually have a flat white at work, which is
right.
Just, basic bitch
That
coffee.
they've got a coffee machine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
It's what you want, mate. But yeah, essentially I love coffee, so
There you go.
shout out to our... So yeah, I'm doing stuff for our sponsor. You're not doing anything, so you need to get on the coffee train.
Like I only get sponsors I align with, so
Who do you align with?
I don't know.
What kind of sponsor would you want then?
Like Nike?
Are you wearing any Nike or?
No. I'm wearing Puma. I'd take Puma.
Just any sports brand.
Any sports brand. Any sports team.
What about Arnott's cookies?
That'd be cool.
You think so?
Yeah. I feel like we could be a point of difference for them.
How so?
Well, I don't think they're in the sporting industry or the podcast industry.
No, I don't think so either. I don't know why. Yeah,
I
because
think they're more in the biscuit industry.
yeah. Well, look, you know how the saying goes. Podcasts sell biscuits.
True.
So I don't know why they're not. They should be, and they should start with us. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on, we can do a little preview for the NRL finals. Last week of the regular season this week. Finals next week. We know a couple of the games at this point. Some of them are still dependent on results today, but we know for the most part what's going to happen. We obviously know 7 of the 8 teams. We can preview the first game, which is obviously minor premiers versus, it will be the Sharks now, 1v4, Melbourne versus Sharks. How do you see that one going? Obviously, these two teams were probably the biggest rivalry in the comp around 2016, 17, 18, that sort of era.
Were they?
Yeah, they played in the grand final. And they
might have
hated
been
each other around
arguably
that team.
the two best teams, but you can't say that they were biggest
Mate,
rivals.
they hated each other back then.
Everyone
time-
hated Melbourne back then.
No, but they were big games when Sharks played Storm back then.
I'm not saying they weren't, but is it bigger rivalry than Bunnies Roosters? Or?
No, not on that sort of scale, but I mean just for the time, those few years.
Okay, yeah. Well, obviously the Sharks beat them in the grand final, didn't they? So up the Sharkies, but they got no shot. Absolutely no shot. I don't care. They got 0 shot. Melbourne are by far the best team in the comp right now, and the Sharks are arguably. I don't know how they made the top 4. I think they just fell into it. They've looked that bad some weeks. I mean, they just are not good, but they just have fallen into... Like, to be fair to them, there are weeks where they've played well, and they've shocked. I think they've beaten you this year, haven't they?
Did they?
Penrith, yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like... Didn't they beat them at Shark Park? I don't know.
Probably.
But I feel like they've had good wins this year. I know they beat the Roosters up on Magic Round. So they've had good wins, but it's just... They look so bad most of the time.
Well, the issue is they looked better when Hines was out. Yeah. So they won a few games in a row. And it's really just actually getting depressing, the Nico Hines career trajectory. Really sad to see where it's just... He just clearly is not up to it mentally, unfortunately, in all the big games in his entire career, essentially. Which is very sad. Everyone wants him to do well, and he is a great player, but when you're 0 for 10 at this point, I don't know what it is. It's starting to become a bit more than a pattern. So that's, I guess, their main issue. Atkinson was great when he was playing 6. Trindle, he's decent. He's not great, but he was decent. So they've got a bit of a problem there. Obviously, you can't drop Hines. He's the marquee man, but it does leave them in a weird position.
Fullback?
No.
Or...
Kennedy's like their best player.
Yeah. Look, it's a tough one, isn't it? I think.
And they have a great backline. Ronaldo, Katoa, arguably the best winger combo in the comp.
I think they're great wingers.
Ramian's had a great year. Ero's going to win Rookie of the Year because Galvin can't. So they've got a good backline. Forwards are decent as well. They've got a good team on paper.
Yeah. The problem with them for me is their only elite player that wins you, like, that could be a state of origin multiple times kind of guy, could play for Australia, is their winger. I think Ronaldo is by far their best player, but he just can't have a big enough impact on the game. Their best player is not Nico Hines, no matter what Buzz Rossfield wants to tell you. But I just don't have that much faith in Nico, and it's sad to say because I think he's obviously a really nice guy, and he's a great player, but is he an elite player? You saw on the big stage in Origin multiple times that he isn't really. He can be dynamic at times, but against Melbourne, at Melbourne, when you're going to have your backs to the wall, you're going to have Nelson running at you, you're going to have just an absolute juggernaut of a defense. I don't know why I said it like that. Defense running at you. And you're going to have to kick off to your back foot from your own 30. Is he going to thrive in that? No. And look, not many would. So it's not a hit on him, but is he going to... My point is, this Sharks team isn't fantastic. They've got a lot of solid players, but you need elite players to win a premiership with those solid players. And I don't think he is elite. So the problem is, I think they're going to lose pretty big in Melbourne. Or even if the scoreline's not big, it's going to be a physical domination. And then, I think in the next round, I think they're going to get beat again.
Loss again.
I think they're going to go
That would be 5 losses in a row with Hines as at the Sharks, which would in the finals, which would be
should be damning.
Yeah, very damning. Very damning. So not good for them. Obviously,
what about you? Do you see it the same way?
I'm going to go Melbourne. Obviously, they've been the best team all year. The spine is insane. Definitely the best spine in the comp. Arguably the best spine of all time. I don't know. Obviously, the big three at Melbourne back in the day, but
for me, it's the new guys that have come through. It's the Howarth and what's his name?
But they have that every year.
I know, but I feel
look at Justin Olam. What happened to him?
I know, but I just feel like they can interchange these players. And when the Roosters played them, I mean, we got dominated by the other guys. We didn't get dominated by their big name players. We got dominated by the players that you wouldn't even think of. And that's their greatest strength every year. It's just they have these guys that no one hears about, but they just fit so well into the system and the coaching, as well as the elite players that we're talking about that the Sharks don't have. They do have them. So it allows these solid players to really grow and fill up past what their role is. So I think Melbourne are by far the best team. So
I do think they're beatable, but they're definitely going to beat the Sharks. So they'll have a home prelim and then probably make the GF unless the loser of this next game meets them in the prelim, then it could be interesting. But the next game happens to be our two teams going up against
our two favourite teams
in the first week of finals. Penrith Roosters gonna be at Penrith now because you guys messed it up last week.
You nearly really cocked that one up.
It looked like neither of us wanted to have it at home. You lost last week. We were like, I don't know if we want it, but Anyway, the last game at Penrith Park, as it is currently situated, obviously going to get knocked down next year and rebuilt. So big.
Thank God.
It's a great stadium, though.
Yeah, I'm sure the tin shed has done its duty over the years.
It has done its duty, and
you can fill the 20 people in there. It's really great.
I think it can fit 18.
Yeah, 8,
something like that.
Yeah, 18. Yeah, really good.
Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad.
So the game itself. Obviously, the Roosters have had devastating injuries last week, which everyone's sort of writing them off now. Cleary is the concern for Penrith. Most reports are that he's going to play next week. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, I'm going to go with Penrith.
I'm obviously going to go Roosters. So look, the reasoning for me is that Penrith haven't looked good. I think we're all just kind of in that mold of just saying, Penrith will win it. Penrith are that good. Penrith have won it 3 times in a row. But if we look in reality, they're nowhere near the standard they were the past 3 years. Or 4 years even, because obviously you made the grand final and lost to Melbourne, which was hilarious that me and you went to. But again, by the by, they just haven't been to that standard. Now, main reason is Nathan Cleary has been out for the entire season, essentially. And he's going to apparently play this game, but how healthy is he going to be? I think he's going to be playing through pain, and I don't think he's going to be at his best. And look, the Roosters have been killed by injuries. However, we do have good replacements. It's not like in yesteryear where we had the likes of a Bulldogs player playing in our halves. Played for you on the weekend. Great.
Did he?
Great performance.
Oh, Drewy.
it's not like we have that kind of depth. I mean, you got Sandon Smith, who arguably would be a half for half the teams in the NRL. You saying he wouldn't start for, Canberra or whoever. So he is an NRL quality starting half. He's got points in him, which is a good thing. I think with young halves coming through, it's always a bit of a risk that they just play it too safe. I think he's got that Sam Walker mould to him. So I think, obviously, he's not Sam Walker, but I think he can hopefully bring some of that. Now you lose Victor Radley, but I think the forward depth is pretty unreal, especially the second row depth. You've got Nat Butcher, Tupanua, Siwa Wong, who played great on the weekend against the Bunnies as well. I thought anyway. So yeah, I think the depth, and also number 9. I mean, we lose Brandon Smith, which is a killer, but you got Connor Watson to fill in there. So it's not the end of the world. Now, can we deal with another 3 injuries to our starters? Probably not, but I think in this game, and I think early on in the finals, I do think we can probably shock. I think most people will pick Penrith, but I think we can shock. We do still have Teddy there. We still have Manu there. And, we still got good players, so I have faith in them. I know we don't have a good... The main thing is the record. It's not even the injuries for me. It's the previous record against Melbourne and Penrith that it is probably this one thing niggling in my mind. But yeah, it's finals.
Yeah, and Penrith, to be fair, have not been as good this year, but it just says so much about how good this team is that they've finished second again in a down year. 5 years in a row to finish top 2 is insane. I think they have to be the greatest club side of all time over a 5-year span, easily at this point. Yes, agree.
You said the greatest club side of all time?
Over a 5-year span, yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep, there you go.
Are they the greatest team of all time? No.
Greatest club side over a 5-year span.
A greatest team? No. They're not even better than 2 of the Roosters teams over the past 10 years.
Okay, we don't need to have this
Sonny
argument.
Bill. Did you have Sonny Bill in your team? I know. Did you have prime Michael Jennings? Maybe. But you had the better Michael Jennings.
Yes. Well,
Maloney.
Maloney just got himself fired. Shout out to him.
Shout out my boy. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a discussion for a different time. But for this game, yeah, the main thing we have going for us is we know how to win these games. Roosters in recent times don't know how to win these games. So it could be I could see similar to what happened against Broncos last year. I could see Roosters getting out to a lead and us just staying calm and mowing them down at the end. So I'm predicting an 18-16 victory. I think we also love sending players off the right way. You can see all the last ride posts going around right now for Luai, Fisher Harris, and you can throw Taruva in, but no one really cares.
Yeah, got dropped, but yeah.
Yeah, so Fisher Harris, it was very emotional, his 200th game. Do you see all the videos and stuff? The big man was shedding some tears before the game.
Was he?
Yeah.
He's not a legend.
He's not a legend.
No, I'm joking. Yeah. But I mean, how long has he played at your club for? Like 5
200
years?
games.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Damn, I thought he just... Damn, I didn't know it was 200 games.
Yeah.
Good showing for him.
It is a good showing.
Yeah, look, he's a great prop. I won't hate on him. I mean, is
prop.
it Jared farewell? No, but I mean, it's a good farewell.
Look, he's like Jared, but less divisive, and probably better.
Is he a better club legend than Jared?
I mean, sure, but Jared is mostly a club legend because everyone just loves how he head highs blokes every game.
No, he doesn't, man. He gets such a bad rap, honestly.
He gets a bad rap.
Yeah, it's
he
not
was.
true.
He came back after a 3-week suspension, and within 10 minutes, gets
that was
himself
bullshit. By the way,
that was not bullshit.
The fucking ref called it back 5 minutes. The thing it happened 5 minutes ago, and he puts him in the bin.
But he head hired him clean.
How can you do that? That's not in the fucking spirit of the game, mate. That's fucking bullshit. Nothing happened. Sam Barrows was fine.
And we'll see. So I think he's out this week still, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
So
but again, we got great prop depth. Even though Spencer Lanu was not great against the Bunnies, I think he dropped the ball 3 times.
Yeah, he's going to have head noise back at his old club.
No, I think I think he's going to want to fucking smash them. I think he's going to.
He's going to want to, but he's going to get too overzealous, make some errors.
But no, I think our prop depth. Obviously, you got Lindsay Collins in there, Terrell May.
Collins has been
Fahu White
mid this year.
You say that every year. And
last year, I would say he was good. This year, he's been bad.
I disagree. I think people say that he's been bad. I don't just don't think he stood out as much because, like, of how many props we have. So he just hasn't had to play massive minutes. I think he's been very good. I think
the rotations are so weird. Like, Terrell May will play 80 minutes one week and 13 the next.
because he's an 80-minute prop. That's the thing. Like he's not a Spencer Lange.
Yeah, he's just really bad at taking hit-ups. He's only good at passing.
I disagree. I think
and offloading. That's his game.
he runs. He doesn't like run like Spencer Lange. Like very different runners, but like the meters that he gets after contact, where he's backing down, getting offloads. Like he's very good. And you see the no try that he set up. Like he was dummied inside and just flipped it out against the Bunnies.
Who scored
It
it?
was a long range try, Suwali, but it got called back.
Yeah.
And he started that whole thing. Like in terms of a skillful prop, there isn't a more skillful prop in the league. So I think the thing with Terrell. I think he's just an 80-minute. Like he's just a workhorse prop that is, that you leave out there for 60 minutes.
You can't have a prop out there for 80 minutes.
I think
because otherwise you've got people sitting on the bench for the whole game.
Well, that's why I just don't think it's set up as well, because you've got obviously Jared and
he has to play
Lindsay.
lock realistically.
But
then.
no, I think in future, like next year when Jared's obviously gone, I think he'll get much more minutes. I think he'll probably be the starting prop next year, and he'll get major minutes, and then you'll have a rotation of sort of Lindsay and Spencer Lange sort of interchanging and having 20-minute, 30-minute spurts, and then sort of maybe Nafahu coming on in the 60th minute to take over. I'm just predicting that. I don't know. That's just what I would do personally. But yeah, I fully rate Terrell May. Like when he first came in, he was not great. Like you said, what you think he is, where he doesn't get many meters. Like he would get hounded. Like he would get absolutely hit up. But I think he's sort of learnt how to sort of run his way, but also gain meters at the same time. So I disagree.
Yeah. And he's become a bit of a meme. Have you seen the Joey Manu vlogs?
I have. Yeah.
And he's always going, "Don't ask me about the game. I don't want to talk about the game," which shows his
chief vibes.
Well, yeah, it shows his dedication to his job. And
but no, what's in terms of the game? Obviously, this is our big thing because obviously Penrith Roosters. What are you most worried about from the Roosters' perspective? In terms of, what are you most worried about from the Roosters?
I don't know.
You're not scared.
They
of
really
anything?
seem harmless.
You think they're harm? Okay, so before the injuries, would you have saw it the same way?
Like, I guess Joey Manu's probably the one that I'm worried about, especially if Tago's marking him. Joey Manu plays right. So it'll be Paul Alamotti. So
what did he do?
Actually, the centers is the worrying part. Paul Alamotti and Tago have been average all year.
What did Alamotti did something really stupid against? Oh, I can't remember. Oh, he knocked. It was at the end against Gold Coast where he knocked the ball on in the last 2 minutes when you it was last minute and a half.
I wasn't able to watch the whole game, so
okay.
But
not a real fan. But yeah, essentially he literally gave Gold Coast a chance at the end. But anyway.
Yeah, so our centres have struggled. Obviously, Taylor May is no longer with us, unfortunately.
He's not dead. He's a criminal.
Yes, so he was obviously meant to be that player, no longer available due to off-field incidents, but
Allegedly.
So Paul Alamotti's had to sort of fill in. And he's been decent, but he's not an elite level centre. And Tago,
you were hyping him up.
You
were hyping him up years ago, Tago, that he was the future.
I'm about to get to that.
Sorry.
Last year he was insane. He was one of the best centres in the comp, and this year he's just fallen off a cliff. And it's almost like he had that shoulder injury at the back end of last year, came back for the last couple of weeks and played the GF, I think. He was not good in those games, but everyone was like, oh, he's playing injured. That's fair enough. But this year he's come back and has not picked back up. Defensively, he's been terrible. Bad reads every week. Meters-wise, nowhere near as good. It felt like there was a few games last year where he was just breaking tackles at will and almost scoring whenever he wanted to, similar to a mini Latrell or mini GI. And this year, just none of that.
Do you think it's obviously got the big contract? Do you think it's
money-based? I don't want to say that, but...
Do you think it's injury?
I think we gave him $700 a year. That's a lot for a centre.
Yeah.
So, you better get it together, buddy.
Yeah, I think it. Look, some players when they get that first big contract, I think sort of hit it and say, "Oh, I've made it. I don't need to do anymore." I think it might be a bit of that, or it could be just sort of residue from the injury. It might just be he has sort of still lingering pain from it, and he's still a bit cautious about it, and it's just sort of impacting his overall game. But yeah, I still think he's a good player. I just think it's sort of a bad year for him. But
yeah, he's good. But yeah, the centers would be the issue. So Manu, who's your other center?
Sawali,
Okay. Sawali.
Starting centre for New South Wales. Mate.
Trash.
Game 1, starting centre for New South Wales.
I mean, and if Dom Young plays, that's a great success.
But aren't you scared of his try-scoring ability?
I'm scared of him. You know, Dom Young only has 2 points on his compass, east and west. So I'm scared of him running from sideline to sideline and getting picked off. But
But he just scores tries.
He does, but any winger would in that team.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I think he's
Tupou scored how many tries every year his entire career?
yeah. But you hate Tupou. I remember.
Well, I don't hate him. I think he's overrated.
That's crazy. He's the most underrated player in the comp.
Well, no, when he was playing Origin, he shouldn't have been, so he was overrated.
I remember having this argument with you. You just couldn't stand that Tupou got selected over some shitty Penrith player. He is an unreal player. He goes so unnoticed.
He's good, but he's not that guy.
What can't he do? From a winger perspective, what more do you want him to do?
I want him to be faster. I want him to be better at stepping.
He doesn't need to step. He just can catch the ball at an unreal height.
I want him to please me.
He's a great
visually.
finisher. He's a great defender. He's a great meter earner. He's everything you want as a winger.
He is, but he doesn't pass the eye test.
No, here's what you've done. You've said, here's a clearly underrated player that a couple of people are calling underrated. I'm going to say he's overrated.
No, that's not what I've done.
Calling him underrated.
Well, no, what I've done is see him play for New South Wales at the age of 30 or something. And to be fair, I think he's gotten better since then. But that season especially, he was not better than Josh Adokar or whoever else was not picked ahead of him. That's what I was upset about. I'll say he's a very good player. But
what about the consistency from when he was 19? He's been a key player for us since 2013, 2012.
Yeah. Good job.
And he's still unbelievable. And we still are extending his contract because we're like, how is he still good? He's 33.
Yeah. But he's not that guy.
Oh, that's criminal.
He's not that guy.
But no, I think a lot of these players, the Roosters, are underrated. So hopefully, look, it just comes down to mentality, in my opinion. If we can sort of get through and win the game, I think. Look, the main thing to take from the 2 previous games from the Roosters is obviously we looked really disjointed against the Raiders, but I think the injuries were the main thing around that. I think that just sort of mentally incapacitated us. And Manu was playing 6 in that game, and a lot of people were saying put Manu in the 6. For this game, and I completely disagree. You watch Sandon Smith and Luke Keary against now it's the Rabbitohs, but they looked so much more fluid. I think
even Manu, he was playing more central in that game. He was popping up every now and then, similar to Turbo in Origin.
Yeah, and
when he's doing that, he looks shit. He just looks slow and lethargic. I don't
see. I disagree.
What I saw him drift across field with the ball probably 5 times against South, and he's just showing it, and nothing happens.
He created a try out of it.
Maybe one time, but
yeah, that's the point.
For the most part, he looks terrible doing that.
I think the more times you get him on the ball, the more he'll create.
His best things happen through broken play as a fullback, or when he's 1-on-1 as a centre with a defender and he can get on the outside and get the flick pass going, or whatever the case may be. But when he's sort of having to run shape, that's not his strength.
No, I agree. That's why I wouldn't have him as a 6. Yeah. But I think when he's a couple of times, like you said, 4 or 5 times a game where he's roaming in the middle, trying to create off broken play, where it's off and offload and he's running inside, I think that's quite valuable because either he's going to gain fucking 15 metres or he's going to create an opportunity on the opposite wing. So I disagree.
Yeah, I just didn't think he looked good doing that. But
he's that's how he plays. He plays a bit he's like James Harden. He's a bit just sort of, it looks like he's moping around, but he's actually just sort of prodding until he finds space and then he accelerates.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. The next
game
finals
is
matchup.
so the next locked in matchup is Dogs Manly. Just depending on the result today will determine where that game is played. Manly lose, it'll be at a core. Manly win, it'll be at Manly. So big game. Obviously, Dogs have looked awful the last 2 weeks. So I think most people will probably pick Manly now.
Well, I think it depends where it is.
Well, we've lost at home the past 2 weeks.
I know you've lost at home to Manly recently, but I still think you're a better final side than what Manly would be.
Really? I mean, well, Turbo's going to be back, so...
Yeah, but it's just... There's something about Seabold and Manly that just gives me the...
Luke Brooks' first finals game. Maybe he gets the jitters.
Maybe. But I just don't see them as a good team. Like
They have X Factor, though. They have heaps of...
They have X Factor, but they don't have fucking guts. They don't have... They don't have, like a grit to them. Like, they've got Nathan Brown, who's their grit, I guess, but...
They've got Paseka.
Yeah, but they just... I don't know. There's just something about them that I just don't think that they can... I don't think they can
They're
win.
a danger team, I feel like. They could beat anyone, I feel like, if they play their best.
Absolutely. I have no doubt about that. But can they win an 8-6 game? Can they win a 10-6 game? No. They can win a 30-20 game, but not every finals game is like that. Sometimes a gritty affair. And I think against the Bulldogs, I think that's actually a bad matchup in the finals when you're fully healthy. Because once you guys get into that for kind of a slugfest almost, the Dogs, I think, will thrive in that because you've got a great defence, but you've got key X-factor players as well that can finish on top of that and create those small opportunities and make those small opportunities tries. So, I don't know. I just personally feel like the Dogs at home could actually win, but if it's a 4 points, it's pretty tough.
Yeah,
especially with that
it is.
Brookvale crowd. But
yeah, and it's a very disappointing end to the season for the Dogs. 2 weeks ago, people were saying, "Oh, they're going to lock up fourth. Sharks are going to drop a game. They'll win their last two. Fourth place. There you go." And to drop all the way to seventh potentially is really bad.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are talking about. What do you think about? Obviously, people are talking about that they've not beat a great team while they've been on this run. Do you think it's?
Yeah, but they have beaten. You know, we beat the Dolphins. If they finish 8th, they're a top 8 team.
It's not much.
It's not much, and they did beat other teams that were in the 8 at the time. They beat the Dragons when they were in the 8. They've beat the Roosters this year.
That was when it was torrential rain.
Did they beat the Sharks? They beat the Sharks, I'm pretty sure.
Look,
was that Burton field goal against Sharks? I'm pretty sure.
I think the Dogs have a limit, but I don't think Manly is the limit, if that makes sense. I think if they play an elite...
Yeah, I think the past 2 weeks has shown they're not there in terms of contention for a premiership. They're a bit off the pace for that, and it was sort of a back down to reality check. So it'll be interesting.
Well, yeah, missing the top 4 is killer for them. I think it's a killer for most teams because, I mean, the previous years of record of say that if you're outside the top 4, you're not, winning the GF. So I think it's tough for those sort of bottom 4 teams, and you have to be sort of really coming into a bit of form, like Manly are, to be fair, but you've got to really be in good form coming into finals to be in contention.
I will say it's a bad draw to get Manly week 1. I mean, even though the Cowboys just pumped us,
they're not,
like the Cowboys have finished 5th somehow. They've got to be the worst 5th place team ever.
Yeah, I think it's kind of gone under the radar how Cowboys have played. I think, obviously, I'm in a tipping comp, and early in the year, I was like, I hate the Cowboys because they always lose. And every time I tip them, they lose. And then every time I don't tip them, they win. And it just felt like they were hovering around 11th, 12th the entire season. And then all of a sudden, the past 7-8 weeks, they've just gone on a monster run and sort of gone under the radar because no one's really paying attention to North Queensland. But I think it's more than that. I think they have... they're key players. I mean, they've got great players, and we've said it. But the past 2 years, in particular, they've kind of floundered. But they've really come into form. And look, I mean, depending on, who they matched up against in the 8.
So it will be Knights or Dolphins, whoever wins today.
I mean, that's going to be an easy win for the Cowboys. I mean, look, I actually think Dolphins.
But that's the type
tough.
of game the Cowboys would lose.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like against the Dolphins, I feel like the hammer would.
The Dolphins looked so good last week. with the new positions.
Yeah, do you think they keep that? Do you think they put Trey Fowler?
Yeah, you have to. They look like their back line all of a sudden looks like the best in the comp.
I don't know about that.
Back five.
Or would you keep... I don't know about Averillo in 6 permanently, though.
Well, yeah, you could bring Katoa back in if you want.
Yeah. But I think the Dolphins could do a bit of a shocker against... or pull a bit of a shock upset against the Cowboys. Knights, no chance.
Well, the Knights are the definition of a one-man team. They're completely average in every single position except fullback. So it's
they've got great fullbacks. They always do.
It's a great success that they've made it this far, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
it's quite funny, actually. They're always crying out for a superstar, and they've done everything in their power to retain and pay massive overs to keep Kalen Ponga. But the reality is, if they probably let him go and just kept Lockie Miller or something, they would have been fine. Or David Arndt, they would have been fine at fullback, and then they could have just paid a shit ton of money for someone else at a key position like 6 or 7 or whoever. It's probably the reality of it. They paid massive overs to keep is he still the highest paid in the NRL?
Yeah, I think he is.
And
1.3, 1.4.
They've just got amazing depth at fullback, but the problem is all these fullbacks are really small and skinny, so they can't play any other position. They can't play centre. So it's just a bit of and they've tried putting Ponga at 6, but he's just not a 6. So yeah, I think it's tough for the Knights to build much. Geographically, they're just in a rough spot. You feel bad for them because it's just, you can't. It's hard to recruit people to Newcastle. It just is, and you're going to have to rely on homegrown talent alone. And look, Penrith have done it, but they also work with probably the biggest crop. They have the biggest crop of young talent coming through.
Penrith.
You
have one suburb.
Yeah, but everyone plays rugby league.
Yeah,
and to be fair, Newcastle rugby league's massive, but it's just how they run. I think Penrith are obviously set up by Gus Gould, how they set up through their academy, and they've just created such an unbelievable crop of talent. But for the Knights, they've tried to go international, which I'm not too sure is the right. I'm obviously Kai Pearce-Paul.
But he's been decent.
He's been okay, but he's on a lot of money.
Is he?
Yeah, he's on 600-700K. He's on a lot of money. And then obviously the other Englishman half they brought in, Price, was it?
Will Price.
Will Price. So I like that they're trying things, but it's they always seem behind the 8 ball. They always seem when they recruit a big name, they've got a couple of stinkers in there as well. So yeah, but that's just my spiel on the Knights. But yeah, they don't seem like they're going to do anything.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. They
could make the 8.
They could win this game though. They are at home, so sold out. McDonald Jones will be a great atmosphere this afternoon.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I think that's that. What else happened? Spoon Bowl just happened. Shout out to the Eels.
Yeah. Really sad. I wanted the Tigers to get up, but 3 years in a row. How bad is it for Tigers? It's almost that...
I think they were almost celebrating. They're all dressed up as spoons anyway.
Yeah.
At the game.
It's yes, get the spoon in. Now, Jerome Luai's coming there next year, so I think he's obviously proven to be a good half this year, a good 7. So I think he's going to do wonders for them. However, they still have a bunch of nobodies running around. So the most I can see them go to is 13th, which is good on them, but they're just going to always be in the pits. They're just going to... It's like Man United, but it's worse. I feel like I'm in a rut with Man United where it's I don't see it, I don't see any way we get good. There's no path forward. I feel like that's what happens with the Tigers, but shout out to Tigers fans, man.
Shout out to them.
Shout out.
The ones that remain.
Yeah. They've got about 3 members, but fair play.
And the one of the Western Suburbs guy, or I can't remember, one of them said they want to disband the merger and go out on their own.
Yeah, Balmain.
Balmain. So
what are you doing, man? We don't need another West Tigers. We just don't. We just don't need a Balmain Tigers and a West Tigers. It's just gonna. We can't make the West Tigers worse. You can't do that. You've got to get kicked out of the competition if you somehow manage to get less money from the West Tigers.
Yeah, and I think the guy that wants to leave, they're reliant on the other half basically to financially fund them. So it doesn't make any sense. So that guy's a bit of an idiot. But yeah, I think that's it for NRL. We'll see how week 1 of finals goes. Very exciting times. Very exciting times.
Very.
Quickly, the UFC next week. Do you know which card it is?
No.
It's the Sphere.
Oh, yes, I heard about that.
Yes. Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili.
What a shit fucking thing for the Spear. Holy fuck. Could they not get Conor McGregor in there?
That was the whole thing where Dana White was pumping up like, this is the best card you've ever seen.
You spent that much money on the Sphere and you can't fucking get a good card? Holy shit.
It's an awful card. I mean, the main event, Sean O'Malley is you know, he's cool. You're happy to see Sean O'Malley fight every week.
He should be 5th ring. He should be 5th. He should be 5th string on this fucking
and
card.
It's also, they've made it like Mexican Independence Day card, even though it's in Las Vegas.
Fucking Vegas.
Yeah. So the co-main event is Alexa Grasso versus Shevchenko, which is great fight. And the third fight is Ortega Lopez. You probably don't know Lopez. He's a good featherweight. That's actually a good fight if you're not a casual. And then the last 2 fights, I don't even know who they are on the main card. So you know it's bad if I don't know who they are. And
fuck off, Dana. Honestly, man.
Yeah, from hyping it up to be, fighters are going to compete to be on this card, to just throwing up an absolute piece of shit. It's very disappointing. And he's bragging about how much money he's spent on it, because obviously there's the massive screen. He's like, we spent $16 million on production. We've got Oscar winners behind the cameras. It's like, no one gives a fuck who's behind the camera. Just put on some better fights. But anyway,
shout out.
That's that. And then the next card is the Abu Dhabi card, which is
the money. So yeah, that's where the
and
fighters are.
That's where the card is.
Yeah.
So
who's fighting on that one?
Rob Hamzat, Max Ilya, like Cyril Gahn, someone. It's a lot of good fights. RDA, Jeff Neal, and I can't remember the rest, but it's a way better card than this. Like, very good card. So, it just shows where their loyalties really lie, and it's to the oil dollar.
Yeah, fair play. But I mean, if you're going to put this much effort into the Sphere, you've got to get fucking at least.
Yeah, and I feel like they're just going to make it shit. Like, if they're putting all this random stuff on the coverage that takes away from actually watching the fights, it'll just be a bit of a shit show. So we'll hold judgment until we see. It could be really cool. Who knows?
But he said he's never doing it again. Like, imagine your one and only chance to do this, and you've got fucking nobodies in the fight.
Well, if it's a Merab, do you know who Merab Dvalishvili is?
Yes.
Yeah, basically he just wrestles people without actually doing any damage or threatening any submission or anything. So
he's just a big bear hugger.
Yes, he's a bear hugger. So it could be one of the worst fights of all time if O'Malley can't knock him out.
Oh, God. Great. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Anything that you want to sort of part ways with? Anything you want to bring up quickly?
A wise man once said, 4 in a row is better than 3. I'll leave you with that.
Wow.
Do you have any prophecies? Any
good things come to those who wait?
Is that a psalm?
Jesus said that.
What verse? Chapter?
Jonathan, verse 20.
Nice.
-35.
Bit of scripture.
Yeah, bit of love, bit of Jesus love.
Bit of Jesus love.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe, and see you later.
Peace out.